So let us go to bumping lemma for context languages. If L is a context language, L is a context language, then there exists an integer n such that if you take any string whose length is greater than or equal to n, you can find 5 substrings. You can be divided, in other words, you can be divided into 5 substrings. You can be divided into 5 substrings. As that your the conditions are good. So V, W, X, Y, Z are the 5 strings, and the concordance of this is your string, and WY is greater than 0, that is at least W and Y, or one of W and Y should contain at least one symbol. In other words, both of them cannot be epsilon at the same time. Right? Then WXY, the middle 3 strings, 2, 3, 4, put together is always less than or equal to n. Then V, W power n, X, Y power n, Z belongs to L for any n. That means this W and Y are the pumping strings. They are called pumping strings, or the language. For this language, they are called the pumping strings. You can pump these strings W and Y any number of times. Then also your string resulting string will be in the language. So you can apply this pumping lemma to prove that the context-free grammar is not a language. For example, now I am taking a language. The language is containing A's followed by B's followed by C's in equal number. Number of A's and number of B's and number of C's are equal. So what I have to do is I am assuming that this language is context-free language, and I am assuming a string whose length is greater than or equal to n. So I am assuming A power n, B power n, C power n. Now, as it said, the WXY is less than or equal to n, WXY contains at most 2 different symbols. How you can see? For example, say you consider n number of A's, then n number of B's and n number of C's. This is your string. So your WXY, suppose if this is the case, WXY at most can extend to this many number of symbols, because the length of WXY is less than or equal to n. So your W or Y put together, can contain only A's. Suppose this WXY is somewhere here, then there is a chance that either Y or W contains A's and B's. If WXY is here, its maximum value is n, so it can be something like this, or it can be something like this. These are the only possibilities you have. Or it can contain B's and C's, or it can contain only C's. These are the possibilities, all possibilities. I am showing you the all possibilities of WXY division, because we don't know what is the value of n and how this WXY should be selected. So you can have WXY can contain only A's and B's, or in other words either W or Y, whatever it is. You see either WXY means because the W and Y, length of WY is greater than 0, at least one symbol should be there. So either W or Y, any choice. So either W or Y may contain only A's in this case, This is the case in which it contains only A's. It may contain only A's and B's. Maybe this case, this is the case. If this is the case, it will contain A's and B's. If this is the case, it will contain only B's, and similarly it may contain B's and C's and only C's. You take any of these 5 cases, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cases, and you apply your pumping lemma for this. For example, you say W square Y square. If W and Y are pumped 2 times, then what happens is, in any case you see one of the symbols, suppose if it is this case, it contains only A's, then number of A's will become more than number of B's and C's. In this case, what happens, number of C's will become more than number of A's and B's from the string. If that is the case, so similarly in all the cases, at least one symbol will be more in number than the other 2 symbols. At least one. There may be 2 also, which means that this does not belong to your language L for some value I, right? And hence, if this does not belong to L, means pumping lemma is not satisfied. Means our assumption is wrong. What is our assumption? Assumption is L is CFL. So that is wrong, and hence we can say that L is not a CFL. Then another language, so L equal to SS. Now you can see the language I am considering is SS, and let us assume that this language is CFL. When you assume this language is CFL, now I am selecting a string whose length is greater than n. So A power n, B power n, then A power n, B power n. Same word or same string concatenated. So if you look at this string, your choice of WXY always contains only A's from the first part, or B's from the first part, or A's and B's from the first part, or 1B and 1A here, right? Or only A's or only B's, or A's and B's in the second part. If this is the case, you see, if you say, in this case, if you say W square X square, what happens? The number of A's in this first part will become more than this. But your string should be A power n, B power n, A power n, B power n. But here you will have more number, and hence this does not belong to L. Similarly, in other cases, in these 2 cases, if you take A's and B's will become more. In this case, B's will become more than this part. So in any case, this does not belong to L, and hence L is not a CFL. Pumping lemma is not satisfied, so your language is not a context-free language. Similarly, one more thing I am taking, and you can see A power n, B power n plus 1, and C power n plus 1. That is, the number of A's should be less than number of B's, and number of A's should be less than number of C's. Now I am considering a string in which number of A's is less than B and number of B's is less than the number of C's. The same logic I am following. So your WXY, you can see your WXY, and your leaves either NA will become more than NBs, or NA will become more than NCs in all these cases. Right? In all these cases. So you can say that L is not a CFL. That means when you take, if you take V power 0 or W power 0, then this will become equal to this, and so on. So in any case, you take, for some value of k, you can always get a string which does not belong to L, and hence pumping lemma is not satisfied. So we say L is not a CFL. And one important property you have to remember is CFLs are not closed under intersection. If you want, you can see why. You see, I am considering 2 languages which are context-free languages. I less than j, that is I less than j, and this is I less than k. Number of A's here is less than number of B's, that is your L1, and number of A's is less than number of C's, that is your L2. Then now I am considering L equal to L1 intersection L2. And what is the intersection of these two strings? In one string, number of A's is less than number of B's. Another one, number of A's is less than number of C's. So L1 intersection L2 is a language in which the number of A's is less than number of B's, and also number of A's is less than number of C's. Then only this string will belong to both the languages. Right? So in the previous slide we have proved that this language in which the number of you can use this proof to prove that this language is not regular, because number of A's less than number of B's and less than number of C's. So this string, the same string which you have used for this, will serve as an example for this. So you can use pumping lemma and you can prove that this is not a CFL, and hence your CFLs are not closed under the intersection, and when they are not closed under the intersection, they are not closed under complement, because intersection can be expressed as complements union, even though union is regular but complement is not regular, right? So one of them or this should be a non-context free, either this should be non-context free or this should be non-context free, or this entire thing should be non-context free, because we know that this is not a context free language. So in some cases this is not true, and hence they are not closed under complement. So they are not closed under intersection and not closed under complement. So the intersection of a CFL, but what you have to remember is the intersection of a CFL and a regular language. You take a regular language and CFL, then their intersection is going to be a CFL. It is closed under the intersection with regular languages. The context free languages are closed under intersection with regular languages, not with context free languages. So that's all about context free language discussion. Now we'll go for PDA. Push down automata. As you can see in the figure, push down automata, the what you are seeing on the screen is the schematic diagram or the block diagram of a push down automata, or the representation of the push down automata. So this is, if you look at this, what we have is an input tape on which your input is specified, and you have a finite control which will control everything reading from the input, so it will take the input. Now the accept or reject is same like your FA. The extra part is this stack. That means something is added to finite automata. What is that? It's a memory. I can call it as a memory, but the memory operated as a stack. You should operate only as a stack, not you can read anywhere and write anywhere. That is not allowed. So when it is a stack, the only operations allowed are push and pop. A new symbol can be added at the top, or you can read and remove the top of the stack symbol. So it will be, what you have to remember is last in first out structure should be followed. When you push first, then that should be the last symbol that you have to pop out, right? Then if you follow this, then you will be operating a stack. Right now, so this is important. A PDA may or may not read an input symbol means there are epsilon moves. You are not reading an input symbol means you can have epsilon moves. So PDA is allowed to have epsilon moves, but it has to read top of the stack in every transition. That means top of the stack must be read for every transaction or for every move of the PDA, and then you have to take the decision either based on the current state, and based on your input symbol, so it can be a or epsilon, and based on the stack, top of the stack, I'll call it top, top of the stack, your move will be or PDA will move. So what you have to do is you have to specify, if you want to design a PDA, you have to specify for each state pair P and for each input symbol A can be epsilon also, either input symbol or epsilon, and for each top of the stack symbol, it could be X, whatever it is. What is on the top of the stack? This is always top of the stack. It can read only top of the stack symbol. It cannot read anything other than top of the stack symbol. So for this, you have to specify what you have to do, right? So what it can do is it can change the state, so it may go to some other state, and it can change the top of the stack symbol. So now the formal definition of the PDA. So PDA has the set of states, set of input symbols, and this is extra. The extra is stack symbols. So what you can push onto the stack and what you can pop out and what you can read onto the stack and everything. So the set of stack symbols usually may be different or may be common, whatever it is, but you are free to choose the stack symbols. And delta is the transition function. Now the change is we have one state, one input symbol, and top of the stack, and we'll go to this is not good. So we'll go to its domain is this and range is it can change the state and it can write the stack symbols. You see S star. So it can make a change to the top of the stack. It cannot make a change to more than one symbol on the stack. It always reads the current symbol on the stack and it can write anything. S star, more than one symbol, or zero symbol. Writing zero symbol means popping out the top of the stack, right? Or it can write XY onto the stack means popping out the top of the stack and then pushing Y followed by X. This is what you have, right? So this is the meaning. Then this is the initial state. Then what is initial top of the stack? So your stack will start with the initial top of the stack symbol, and usually people will use Z0, but you can use anything. Some people will write a special symbol, but whatever it is. Then F is the set of accepting states, right? So this is your stack. So a move will be like this, one state to another state, you can say, and your input symbol, top of the stack symbol, and what you can push onto the stack. If C is epsilon, it means that B is popped out. Suppose in place of C, I write epsilon, means your top of the stack. Suppose top of the stack is B, and when C is epsilon, then this is removed, and what is here will become top of the stack. Suppose I say B to A, then B will be popped out and A will be pushed. So a push is a sequence of pop operation and a pushing the symbol. Suppose you say AB, it means on to the top of B, A is pushed. So B will be as it is and A will be pushed. Suppose I say AAB, then onto the top of B we push A and another A, like this. Right? This is how a move will be specified, and this is the transition graph. So this is equal to delta of what I have shown in the figure is delta of Q comma A is your input symbol and the top of the stack is B is set as Q. It is going once again to Q. It may be same state, and then top of the stack is changed to C. This is the meaning of this. If this is say P, then here it will be P, right? Then instantaneous description of the stack. So at of the PDA, at any given point of time, you can specify what is the status of the PDA. It will always tell you the status of the PDA. Now you see, always at any given point of time, when you want to say what is your PDS configuration, then you have to specify the current state at the given point of time, the current state, and W is unconsumed input. That means it keeps on reading your input, and suppose it is at this point, then the remaining input, whatever the input, if this is your entire string, at this point of time, if you want to specify the PDS configuration, you have to specify what is the current state. For example, if P is the current state, then P, then this remaining part of your input W, so it has to start reading from the first thing of this. These are already written and you can never come back to this part. This is the remaining thing. Then the stack contents up to bottom. So what you write first, will be the top of the stack symbol. Then next is going to be the next top of the stack. Then below that, then below that. At the right end, what you will have is the bottom of the stack. This entire stack contents has to be shown for the instantaneous description of the video. Then we use this notation to show that a PDA will go from one configuration to another configuration. For example, if you are here and in one step you can move from here to here, provided there is a move. There is a move for state P, input symbol A, and top of the stack T. Top of the stack T. There is a move which will make you to go to state Q from P to Q, and A is consumed. You can see A is consumed from here to here. You are coming. So if there is a transition, or if there is a transition function as defined this configuration, P A top of the stack is T is equal to Q comma something, let me say some alpha, then you can show that from here it can move to here, say from here to here using this symbol, right? Only when this is available or this move is available. So T, you can see T is removed, T is popped out. This is single stack symbol. T is popped out from the top of the stack and alpha is pushed with the left symbol of alpha on top of the stack, being on top of the stack, right? Then when you want to specify from one configuration, you can move to other configuration in 0 or more steps. You can use star. This is for one step. And if you want to show that from here your PDA can move here in more than one step, 10 steps or 100 steps, then I'll say star. Then there are some moves in between which I am not interested. That is the main. Now how can a PDA declares that your input string is accepted? Then there are two ways. Unlike an FA where it reaches final state, there are two ways. One way is by reaching a final state. Now you look at this, string W is accepted by final state if it starts in this configuration, that is initial state, your input is given to PDA and stack is starting with the bottom of the stack, initial stack symbol, and after 0 or more moves, where it is going to Q. What you have to observe here is epsilon. That means after the entire input is read, that means it has to consume all the input symbols from the given input string. It cannot declare in between or in the middle. So once you read all the input symbols, you are reaching the PDA ends in the final state, one of the final state. Now I don't specify what is this. So we don't mind what is there on the top of the stack. Only what is required for us is we need to reach final state after reading your entire input. Then we say that the string W is accepted by final state. And the language accepted by PDA by final state is the set of all such strings which are accepted by final state by the PDA. Then by empty stack. So the same as this, but only difference is, you see, it is starting in the same initial configuration, but now the difference here is this. That means now the stack is empty. Now the stack is empty, and and your entire input is consumed. Now you can see. So initial configuration is same. You start with Q0 and bottom of the stack or initial top of the stack symbol. And your input is given. But now there is no condition on the state on which it ends, but the condition is on the stack. Stack should be empty. That's why I said this is acceptance by empty stack. Now the language accepted is now N of M. You see this, normally people will use this N of M for acceptance by null store or empty stack. Null store or empty stack. This is acceptance by final state, L of M, right? Set of all those strings will make the language of the PDA accepted by empty store. Now let us see how to design the push down automata for given languages. I'll go through with some of the examples, and remaining things will run on the same grounds. Now you just see what I am considering is XCXR. The language I am considering is XCXR. If you look, so what I have now is I have a stack with me. In addition to the states and the input, I also have some stack, right? Your FA will be failed, or your FA cannot recognize this because you need to read this X and you need to remember the symbols in this X so that they will be compared with X power. And you have to remember them in reverse order. X should be remembered in reverse order. So what I do is FA will fail because it has no memory. Now for PDA there is memory, and that too in terms of the stack. So what I do is see. Now there is something called C in the middle. So my string, suppose my string is ABA. So then C followed by reverse of this. Let me go for ABB, then followed by BBA. These are the type of strings that are allowed in this language. So what will I do is, see, the strategy I am following is I'll start with Z0 top of the stack. I always make top of the stack as Z0, right? Now I equal to Z0 top of the stack initially, or initial stack symbol Z0. Now when I read an input symbol, I'll push that A onto the stack, right? Now you see delta of Q0 initial state A Z0. What I am doing? I am not changing the state, but I am pushing A onto Z0, or A onto, in other words, A onto the stack. This is what will happen. Suppose I get B in Q0, if not A, you get B. So whether it is A or B, I am pushing. You just see these two moves, the first two moves, if you see, when I start in Q0 and top of the stack, your initial stack symbol will be Z0. So whether it is A or B, I am pushing onto the stack, right? Now after pushing that, suppose you get one more A or one more B, then your top of the stack can be A or it can be B also. So you see, you get one more A, and that A is also pushed. You get one more B, that B is also pushed onto the previous top of the stack symbol. So with these moves, what happens is, all these moves will tell you that the X in the first part, this X in the string are now pushed onto the stack. How? First symbol, first push, second symbol, next, third symbol, next, and the last symbol in X will be on top of the stack. On top of the stack. Suppose I get C in the input, then what I am doing is, C, from C, suppose as soon as you get this C, this is for middle of the string. Now once you come to this C, it means that you need to now compare this string, whether this is reverse of this string or not, right? So your X is now over. So all symbols in X are now pushed, and in the middle I am getting C. Now what should I do is, whether I am getting the symbols in the input in this format or not, that is symbols in X in reverse order. Now what is on top of the stack? The last symbol on X is pushed onto the top of the stack, is available on top of the stack. So what should I do? First symbol here must be compared with the last symbol in X, which is available on top of the stack. Second symbol here must match with this second symbol from last in X, which is available below that top of the stack. So what I am doing is, see, when I look at C in the input, I am just changing the state. Change of state once we come across the middle. So this is the middle point. So I am just changing the state to Q1. That means I entered into Q1. Now C is not pushed onto the stack because I don't want any comparison for that C. C is used only for marking the center of the string, right? Then after that, if I get A in the input in Q1, that means you are now starting the second part of the string. It should be reverse of your first part, right? So if it is A and top of the stack is A, it will match. So I am doing Q1 comma epsilon. That means I am removing that. You see A in the input and top of the stack is A, then I am removing the top of the stack symbol. A is removed. Next, if I see B and top of the stack is B, that means they are matching, I remove. If they don't match, I will not specify anything. I am not specifying. If they don't match, I don't do anything. Right? Later I will tell you what happens. Right? So if they match, I am popping. And you keep on popping until you see the bottom of the stack is Z0. What does it mean? All the symbols in X are now matched with the X power R, right, in reverse. Then, so I am changing the state from Q1 to Q2 and I declare that Q2 is a final state. When you are in Q2 and your input is over, you can accept your string, right? Now, you see this. There is something special. What is that special move? Q0 C Z0, because I said the X belongs to A comma B whole star. That means null string can be there. Suppose if X is null, what is your input? Your input is 1C. So Q0 only C you are getting and stack is Z0. Then I am going to Q2 Z0 so that this string is accepted. The minimum length string is this. That you have to be very careful. Handling minimum length strings in many cases. Right? Now look at this. So to have a clear understanding, first part is pushed, change the state when you encounter the middle and compare it with the remaining input. When you reach final state, you accept after the end of the input. See, I am showing you the same PDA I am showing you in terms of the transition diagram. This is the transition diagram I have given. The same thing, but I am specifying with transition diagram. Will tell you state, and first parameter will tell you what is the input, then comma, followed by stack symbol. A is stack symbol, B is stack symbol, Z0 is stack symbol. Then slash. A slash is given. So the meaning of this is if the input symbol is C and stack top of the stack is A, then A will be kept as it is. A by A means A is now kept as it is. B is kept as it is. Now you see here Z0 now becomes B Z0. It means on to Z0 B is pushed. The meaning of this is B is pushed. Now you see here input is A, top of the stack is A, then A is pushed onto A. Input is A, top of the stack is B, then A is pushed onto B. AB means onto B, A is pushed. That is the meaning, right? Now I have shown you and using the instantaneous description how input strings are given. Now you see A, B, C, B, A is the input that is given. Now you can see from Q0, A, Z0, Q0, A, Z0. So this is what I have. So it says A should be pushed onto Z0. Now you see this is your stack. A is pushed. Now the next one is B. So I have pushed B onto A. Now when I see C, the input is changed in state is changed to Q1, and top of the stack there is no change, right? So there is no change in the stack, but C is red. Now once you are in Q1 and now your input is B, top of the stack is B, your input is B, top of the stack is B, B slash epsilon means this B should be removed from the top of the stack, only one B, right? So now B is removed. When you remove B from the stack, what remains in the stack is A, Z0, right? Now Q1, A, top of the stack is A. So A, top of stack is A is removed. So A is removed. So what you have is Q1 epsilon Z0. Now your input is epsilon. All the string is red. Now Q1 epsilon Z0. It says you have to go to Q2 and Z0 is kept as it is. Now you see your entire input is red and you are reaching a state which is final state, and hence this input string is accepted, right? So your string A B C B A is accepted. Now you can see some string which is let me give A B C B B, right? So up to A and B. So A will be pushed, B will be pushed. So you have first A is pushed, then B is pushed, right? Then Q0C, the state is changed to Q1. Q1 B B. So this B is removed. Now Q1 B A. Now you see your input is A, top of the stack input is B, top of the stack is A. That means these two. Now for this there is no move. You see Q1 AA there is a move, Q1 BB there is a move, but Q1 BA there is no move. That means we say your input string is rejected. Whatever is the remaining, we don't mind, right? We don't mind. We just simply declare that your input string is rejected because there is no move and your PDA cannot continue, and hence your input string is rejected. Now I'm going for a little bit more complicated example, the language of palindromes. That means x equal to x power r. Now how do we do this? Earlier there was a center marking, that is C. There was a symbol that is used so that I can see where I have to change the state. Now in this your x equal to x power r. That means the string is given, but you don't know where is the middle point. For example, A, B, D, A. Where is the middle point? The PDA cannot know because it can read only one symbol at a time. It cannot see what is the entire thing and then decide the middle of the string. Because once it reads one symbol, it will go forward and tries to read the next input symbol. It cannot come back also. So your PDA has no chance of not guessing, no chance of determining where is the middle. Now suppose your string is this, then what happens in the middle? There is one symbol that is part of your string, and it cannot be. It can be a also. So you cannot. The string will not tell you distinctly where is the middle. Then what PDA has to do? The PDA has no other way, right? So to change the state, when you have to change it, either after reading this, or after reading this, or after reading this, or after reading this, then what? So you need to, or the PDA need to make a guess. That means because it doesn't know, what it will do is it will assume that after reading some input symbol or before reading some input symbol, it assumes that the middle of the string is crossed, right? That means now there is non-determinism in your PDA. That means every time it reads a symbol, it always assumes two things. One thing is it is in the first part, so it is in the first part. That is one assumption. The other assumption is once this symbol is read, it will for the next input symbol. This may be the last input symbol in the string, not last. This may be the in the first half of the string. So this X should be divided into two parts. Part 1, part 2. In part 1 you need to push, and in part 2 you need to pop. That means these two should be a matching, right? So at this point your PDA should change the state. So up to this point you need to make a push, and from this point you need to make a pop. Now when your string X is even length, when your string X is even length, in the middle there will be no symbol. But when the string is odd length, there will be one symbol for which you don't need to do matching, right? So this is another part. Now let me see how I designed the PDA for this. Right? Now look at this. A top of the stack is B. I'm pushing A onto B. I'm in Q0 means my PDA will always be in Q0 if I'm in first half. So this says that I'm assuming I'm in first half. So whatever A's you are reading is now is pushed onto the stack, right? B, B, B. So you are in first half. Right, so as long as I am in first half, I am pushing all the symbols onto the top of the stack, onto the stack. Let everything, whether you get A or you get B, and whatever be the top of the stack, because I am in first half, I am pushing. So this is my first half. Now, suppose after reading the current input symbol, if this is the middle symbol of odd palindrome. Odd palindrome means your string is of length odd, so in the middle there will be a symbol, and to the left of it, to the right of it, we have the first part, second part. So this is how you have to do the matching. And for this A or B, there is no corresponding symbol. That itself will act as the matching symbol. So you see, I am reading the input symbol, whatever be the top of the stack, whether it is A or B or Z0. I am not making any changes to the top of the stack. I am not making any changes to the top of the stack, because you should not match this symbol with any other symbol, right? So you simply read this and forget it, because that itself is the symbol. So whether you read from the beginning or from the end, this will be read only once, right? Now, because this is a palindrome. For example, you see A B B B A. This will match, and for this, if you read from here or from here, this will be read only once. So I don't want any matching for this. Simply I read this and I forget it, right? So that is what is for this. Now, if it is a even palindrome, then what I am doing is, after pushing the symbol or the element, let us say A B B A. If this is even palindrome, there is nothing in the middle. There is nothing in the middle. I read A and I will push in this portion. Then I'll read B and I'll push from Q0. But before reading this symbol, which is the first symbol in the second half, without reading anything, whatever be the top of the stack, see, after reading this, it will come here. But before taking up this input symbol, I am changing the state to Q1. See, epsilon means don't read anything, and whatever be the top of the stack, whether it is A or B or Z0. That means if you give only single, this will work only when string of length 1, and remaining things when string is more than 1, right? So without reading anything, before this coming to Q1, don't read anything and change the state to Q1. Now once it comes here, it will change to Q1 and then tries to read the next input symbol. It can do it here also, but it will not accept because this is non-deterministic. Just like NFA, this is a non-deterministic PDA. That means there is a choice of moves for it. Either it can go for read this and do something here, or it need not read this and do something, go to Q1 and do something, right? It's its choice. Then Q1 is same. Input and top of the stack are matched, then you just remove it. And when you see epsilon Z0 from Q1 without reading anything, if top of the stack is Z0, you go to Q2. Right? So that is how I have managed to, or I have designed the DFA. You see, this font is for your in first half, that is say x by 2, I will say, or let me say first part is x1 and second part is x2. In the middle you have something, right? This is for first part, and this is for odd palindromes. If there is an input symbol which should not be matched, and this is for even palindromes, and this is for matching with x1 and x2. If x12 is equal to x1 power r, then you will come to this position, right? So this is the PDA that has been designed. Now you can see how, because this is non-deterministic PDA, there are a choice of moves for it. The input I have taken is BA, AB. For this AB, BA, you can see it is accepted. See, first A is pushed onto Z0, then B is pushed. Now it is making an epsilon transition. Q1 on epsilon, it is going to Q0, and on epsilon, top of the stack is B, it is going to Q1. You see, right? So this move is taken, Q1 epsilon, this move, epsilon move, and top of the stack is B. Top of the stack is B. So that move is taken because this is even palindrome. If you don't take this move, it will lead to some other state which is non-accepting state, but still there is a choice. So this choice I am taking, and now from Q1 it keeps on, right? This is how the string is accepted. There are other choice of moves where it will not accept the string, right? At least there is one path which is leading to the final state, and hence your input string is accepted. Similarly, I am working for BA, AB. This is not a palindrome. This is a palindrome, right? So for BA, AB. This is for ABBA, this is BA, AB, BA, this is a palindrome. Now you can see if you take Q naught epsilon Z naught, Q naught epsilon Z naught, if you take Q1. That means now the PDA is assuming that the first half is crossed, but it is coming to Q2, but your input string is remaining, so string is not accepted here. Similarly, after reading first B, it is assuming it's a odd palindrome. When it assumes it's an odd palindrome, it comes Q0 to Q1, but B will not be pushed. And from Q1, top of stack is EA, right? Input symbol is EA, top of stack Z0. There is no move for Q1 for this, but it will take epsilon move and come to Q2, but still it will not accept because input is not read. Similarly, all other things only in this case. So this path will uh, lead me to final state. Even though other things are not accepting because of this non-differentiated media, there is at least one uh, path from initial configuration to this configuration, which is leading me to accepting state after reading the entire input symbol. Top out stack is not uh, uh, is ignored or whatever it is. Right? This is how the PDA is going to accept the strings. Now this is acceptance by final state. Right. Now we'll take a break for 5 minutes and then we'll come back.
Last step that's bro.
Welcome back. Another language in which number of A's is not equal to number of B's. You can see initially if you get A or B, it is just pushed onto the stack. The strategy I am following here is I am matching A with B or B with A from the stack. So the initial symbol, whether it is A or B, is pushed. Then if the next input symbol is A and on the stack there is A, I am pushing. If the next input symbol is B and on the stack you have B, I am pushing. That means whenever I get the same symbol repeatedly, I am just pushing them. If the input and the stack will not match, that means the previous symbol and the current symbol now does not match on the top of the stack, then A and B are matched together. So for one A, one B is popped out, or for one B, one A is popped out. So I keep on popping out one B or one A, provided the input is the opposite symbol. So with this, what happens is stack will always remain with the extra symbols. If A's are more, stack will remain with A. If B's are more, stack will remain with B's. At the end, stack should contain either A's or B's. If A's are more, stack will have A's. If B's are more, stack will have B's. Then I will go to final state. Right? This is how I push for NA of X equal to NB of X. For example, if I take ABB, you can see what happens to the stack at each time. This is initially you start, right? I'll write like this: Z0, Q0, A. So A is pushed. You can see now input is B. On stack you see A. That means that input B and on stack is matched with B and A are matched. That means this A is popped out. You can see A is popped out. B and A. Input is B, stack is A, so A is popped out. So now you can see so far you have one B and one A in the string and they are matched. And top of the stack remains with Z0. When A's and B's will become equal, stack will always be Z0. Then right? Then another B I am getting, but top of the stack is Z0, means this B is extra. So that B is pushed. Right? That B is pushed. Then your input is over. So on epsilon, when your input is over, you see the input is over, or on epsilon, when top of the stack is A, on epsilon, when top of the stack is A or top of the stack is B, it will be kept as it is and it is coming to Q1. So this is final. So your input string is accepted. Now you can see this string. See, B is pushed, then A and B are matched. Then remaining input is AB. When A is pushed, then B and A are matched. You can see so far if A's and B's are same, stack will always be Z0. Right? So when you have ended your input, you are ending with Z0. Right? Stack is Z0 means A's and B's are equal. Now there is no input for you and there is no move for this configuration, and hence your input is rejected. This is how it will reject the strings. Right? And this is also a non-deterministic PDA, because you can see for some configuration there is this move and this move. It can take this move. Right? This is also a non-deterministic PDA. Now look at this. From this PDA, if this move is removed, means this one. This move is not there. This PDA, without this move, this PDA will be for this. When this is not there on the stack, you will find B's. That means the number of B's is greater than number of A's. The same PDA, except this move, this will work for number of B's are greater than number of A's. Suppose you keep this and you remove this, then on the stack you will see A's. On the stack you will see A's. That means number of A's is greater than number of B's. Right? So if you modify this PDA, you will get the PDA for this in this manner, or if you modify this PDA in this, that means without this move, then what happens? Number of A's will be greater than number of B's. Next, what is a deterministic pushdown automata? Means when there is no choice for you, then it is called deterministic PDA. For example, you see any choice like delta of q comma a comma x has at most one element. That means only one. There is no choice for you for a given configuration. That is for a given state and given input and given stack, where your input includes this. At most one element. That means at only one or 0 or 1. More than 0, more than 1 are not allowed. Because if more than one is there, then you will have a choice. So then that PDA becomes non-deterministic. Similarly, if q comma epsilon comma x is not equal to 5, then q comma a comma x should be 5. Right? Because if this is equal to 5, then you can have this move. Suppose if both of them are not equal to 5, that means there is a move for this and there is a move for this. So your PDA is unable to determine whether to read the input and take the transition or don't read the input and take the transition, because for this combination of state and stack, without taking the input also you can go to somewhere, but by taking input also you can go to somewhere. That means there will be a choice. So these two definitions are nothing. The two definitions are for only to ensure that PDA will always have only at most one choice for a given combination. Then we say that it is a deterministic PDA. So the previous case, if you look at this PDA is non-deterministic PDA because you can see Q0 A Q0 A has one transition. What is the transition? Q0 A is saying Q0 A. This is the transition. And delta of Q0 epsilon A is equal to Q1 A. That means now we have a choice. Whenever you are in Q0 and your next input symbol is A, for example, look at this Q0 A, and top of the stack is, let me go for this Q0, go for B, right, I go for this Q0 A, Z0 is not there, right, Q0 B, and top of the stack is A. Let me go for Q0 A, and top of the stack is A, B, right. Do you see top of stack of Q0, then your input is A, top of the stack is B. Q0 A, top of the stack is B. So it can either do this, right? It can either just do this and push A, or it can just make the combination and null out and take this move, or it can take this move also without reading that A, Q0 epsilon B, Q0 epsilon B. So it can go to Q1, right? It has a choice now. When it has a choice of taking either this move or this move, then we call that PDA is non-deterministic, right? The first one which we have designed is deterministic. Which one? This one. You can see there is no choice for it. I think this is right. There is no choice for this because I always know where is my middle point. So it need not guess and it will do. So this is a deterministic PDA. Since you know where is the middle point and where you can change the state. So this is deterministic PDA. Then this is a non-deterministic PDA because it has to make a guess. Where it is in first part, if it is in first half, you need to take something. If it is second half for even palindromes, you need to do something. If it is in second half for odd palindromes, it has to do something. So this is a non-deterministic PDA, right? So the language is a deterministic context-free language if there is a deterministic PDA for the given language L. Then we call that language to be a deterministic context-free language. Now this is another PDA, deterministic PDA for accepting the language of balanced parenthesis. Balanced parenthesis means something like you have everything like this, right? Or you can have like this, balanced parenthesis. So this is always going to be deterministic. So it always pushes the left brackets, and when matching occurs with the same bracket, you can see. Suppose same left brackets are available, it keeps on pushing. When a right bracket you get, they will be popped out, right? It will observe top of the stack. And on epsilon it comes to Q0, right? So this is a deterministic PDA. Then deterministic PDA for NA of X greater than NB of X. 1A and 1B will be matched here. When one extra A is seen, it will enter into Q1. One extra A, one A, single A, it will enter into Q1. Now after that, if you get one more A, it will be pushed. You get B, that B and A will be popped out as long as B and A. Now, if you see Z0, you will come to Q0, means you will be in Q0 when A's and B's are equal. You will be in Q1 when the number of A's will become more than number of B's, and this is your condition. Number of A's is more than number of B's. If number of B's are more, you will come to this point, whether they are equal or more. Now, you can design a PDA for a given context-free grammar. How do we design? So what we are given is a context-free grammar B with V sigma or T, P, yes. Non-terminals, terminals, production and static variables. Now, given a context-free grammar, how do we design a PDA for the grammar? So that suppose, how do we design a PDA so that L of G is equal to N of M. Let me call this as PDA. So observe, I am designing for PDA to accept by null store. N of M is by null store, not by final state. So how I am doing? So what is given for me is G, context-free grammar. Now I have to define what are the set of states. I have three states, Q0, Q1, Q2, only three states. Any grammar you can design a PDA with three states. Then F is a set of final states. I am defining for L of M. Let me call it. Defining PDA to accept by final state, not by null state. Then what is my T? So T is V union T, that is the stack symbols. T means the stack symbols, or T or Z, some people use. Your stack can contain variables and terminals from the grammar and Z0. Z0 is not part of either V or T. It's a special symbol and initial stack symbol, right? So this defined. Now what is remaining for me is the transitions. Now Q0 epsilon Z0 is equal to Q1 S Z0. You see, your PDA is starting by pushing S onto the stack. By starting S onto the stack. So Q1 S Z0. This is the first move I am making. Then you see, if there is A to alpha a production and top of the stack is a variable. A is a variable. Your stack can contain variables, terminals, and Z0. If the top of the stack is a variable and you are in state Q1, then there is an epsilon move. That means without reading the input, you can change the state to Q1. That is Q1 to Q1. There is no change in state. Changing to Q1 means no change. Then this A is replaced with alpha. What is alpha? RHS of the production of A. Suppose A has 2 productions, you will have 2 moves. A has 3 productions, you will have 3 moves for this configuration. That is, this is a non-deterministic PDA. We are defining NPDA. So this will be Q1 comma alpha. Suppose A has alpha 1, alpha 2, then Q1 alpha 1 comma Q1 alpha 2. That means this is a choice, right? Then if top of the stack is a terminal and your input is a terminal which is same, then the terminal is popped out. From the top of the stack, the terminal is popped out. Now when from Q1, if you reach or bottom stack is Z0, top of stack is Z0, then without reading anything you can go to Q2. That Q2 is a final state. And for Q2 I am not defining any moves. Now let us take an example. You see, the example I am taking is S to A, AS, BSS, or SSB, or SBS. This is for number of A's is greater than number of B's. This is the grammar. I have only one variable. You can take more than one variable. Now what is the first move? This is first move, you can write directly for anything. Q0 epsilon Z0 is Q1 S Z0. Next. Q1 epsilon top of the stack is a variable. Only I have one variable. If you have 2, you have to write 2. Q1 epsilon S. Suppose you have A, Q1 epsilon A, and so on, right? Then A to alpha, or you have to see what are the productions of S. S has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 productions, so you will have 5 moves for this. S to A, so Q1 in place of S, A will be pushed. Q1 AS, Q1 BSS, Q1 SSB, Q1 SBS. That means in place of S, A will be pushed, or AS will be pushed, or BSS, or SSB, or SBS, right? And for all input your input is A and B. What we have is terminals are A and B. So Q1 AA, Q1 epsilon, Q1 BB, Q1 epsilon. Then this is as it is. You need to copy. Q2 is final state, right? So this is the PDA I have designed. You will have only 3 states for any grammar. So I have written that and I have shown you this. Now if you see how this PDA is going to accept the string generated by this grammar or any grammar in fact, right? Now look at this. For the string ABAA, I am showing you a derivation S to AS S to AB, yes, yes, then S to ABA, yes, then ABA, right? This is the derivation. Now let me see what happens in the PDA if I give this to the PDA. Q0 A Z0. But initially Q0 epsilon Z0, it says Q1 S Z0. That is S is pushed to. Now Q1 top of stack is a variable, so Q1 epsilon. Now you see Q1 epsilon Z0 is Q0 epsilon Z0 is Q1 S Z0. Then Q1 top of stack is a variable, so Q1 epsilon S. So Q1 epsilon S, there are how many moves? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can go to 5. That means there are 5 ways for this deterministic PDA, non-deterministic PDA. So what I am doing is, in place of S, I am selecting this move. If you select this move, it will not accept it. But there is other choice. So what I am doing is, I am taking this choice. So S to A, yes, it will try all the possibilities. One possibility fails, it will come back and take the next possibility, right? So for S, A, yes, right? See, in place of S, AS is written. S is pushed and A is pushed on to S, A is pushed. Then top A and A, Q1 A, you see Q1 A, that A, the terminal A is popped out, so it is popped out. Now it is Q1, your input is BAA and top of the stack is S. So Q1 epsilon S, Q1 epsilon S. You can take any choice. So I am taking this BSS, right? BS, S is replaced with BSS, right? Then your input is now Q1BB, Q1BB. So that B will be popped out, B slash epsilon. So that B should be popped out. So Q1BA, yes, yes, and so on, right? So it is going to accept at last, right? If you observe, you can observe at these points where I have underlined and put a star, you can see the derivation of the string is simulated. S to AS, you see. You see, what we have is S to AS. Then the next stage, this S is replaced with BSS. Now you see, this S is replaced with BSS. Then next S. What is this next S? This next S is replaced with AS. Now you see, this S is replaced with AS. Then this next S is replaced with E. So S to E, right? The derivation. Then the remaining steps, it is going to match the input and stack, right? So this is what you are going to get. Right? Now actually this a leftmost derivation is simulated by the PDA. You can take having more variables and you can work out. Next, PDA to CFG. PDA to CFG. That means given a PDA, you can also find the CFG. Right? How you can find the PDA for a given CFG? How means, now you see, earlier we have seen context free grammar to PDA. Now I am attempting to find out a grammar for a given PDA. Now what we are doing here is, I am taking the PDA which will accept some language by empty stack, and then I am converting it to, or I am finding out the equivalent context free grammar. How? And also at this point I want to show you that if there is a PDA that will accept the language by final state, then you can convert that PDA. Every PDA which will accept the language by final state can be converted into equivalent PDA which will accept the same language by empty stack. How means this is how you can do. Suppose these are the final states, and there are some transitions. I'm not showing what is the transition. We don't mind. I'm making them as non-final states, right? And then on epsilon, top of the stack is anything. Top of the stack is anything. I'm just coming to a state called QE, a new state QE, and once you enter into QE, whatever is on the top of the stack on epsilon, it is just removed. All input symbols, whatever you have, can be removed so that your stack will become empty. And once your input is over, suppose your input is over and it reaches here, then from here, if there is something on the stack, from here they will enter into this QE, and then this is going to remove all the remaining stack symbols, and then it will make the stack empty. So if this accepts, then this will also accept, right? That is how I can make a PDA from final state to PDA by empty stack. You can take an example. Now, what are the rules? So we have been given a PDA, and now we are designing a context free grammar G such that L of G is equal to N of M by empty stack, right? Now this you have to observe. The variables in the grammar is yes, starting variable, and this is now treated as a variable. Now what is this variable? This variable consists of q, z, q dash. It's a pair containing two states. Q, q dash can be same or can be different, and z is the stack symbol. So this will be treated as a variable, this pair. Different pairs you will get different variables. If you are unable to see this as a variable, later you can just rename this each such pair with some variable name A, B, C, and so on. But initially you stick on to this until you design the context free grammar. Next, a production is added S to Q0, Z0, Q. Q0 is initial state, Z0 is initial stack symbol. Initial stack symbol. So here something is missing. Q0, Z0, 5. For M you will have Z0. So Q0, Z0. Then this Q can be any state from the PDA, but these two are fixed. Initial state, initial stack symbol. So yes, productions are this. Next, if there is a move of this type in the PDA, that is delta of Q comma A comma Z is, that means one input symbol is erasing the top of the stack symbol Z. Stack symbol, top of the stack symbol is erased with the input A from state Q, and it is entering into Q dash. Then the variable Q, Z, Q dash. What is the variables? Variables in the grammar will be pairs. What pair? State, state, stack, state. So Q, Z, Q dash. Q, Z, Q dash. Q, Z, Q dash gives you A. That is your terminal that made the Z erased. That made the Z erased and entered into Q dash. Right? So this is the move, if this is the case. Then the other case is top of the stack Z is replaced with something Z1, Z2, dash dash Z1. From Q it entered into Q1 by reading the input symbol A, and Z is replaced with Z1, Z2, dash dash Zm. If this is not the case, this will be the case. Something is pushed onto the stack. Then what we have to do? You see, have to be very careful here. QZ. QZ is this pair. This pair is state, present state, delta of q a z. So q z, state stack q z. Then where it was q dash, state that is changed is q dash, q z q dash, right? To a, your input is a, input is a, right? That symbol. Then where it has gone is q1, qz, now q1. Now this q dash I'll tell you later what is this, right? Q a q1, a q1 z1 q2, q1 z1 q2, then q2 z2 q3 and so on. Now you see your q dash and this q dash must be this. Upon zm you should have qm zm q dash. This sequence you have to remember. And what is q dash? q2 q3 qn is defined here, but this for any values of q, that means you need to make a choice, q dash, q2, q3 up to qm. You are free to make this choice of this combination. So you need to make a combination from the set of states, whether repeated or not repeated, we don't mind. So q dash, q2, q3, qm. For this choice, you need to include this move, right? So we'll take up an example, then it is going to be clear. Let us construct a context-free grammar for this PDA. This is my PDA. This is the PDA. This is from the textbook KLP Mishra and Chandrasekharan. N. Chandrasekharan. Right? So you can get it from the textbook. Now you just look at the S moves. What S moves says. I'll erase everything here. S2, what are the S productions? S2, Q0, Z0. These two are fixed. You have a choice for this. You have a choice for this. For any value of Q in the set of states, I have a choice. So, how many states are available for me? Two states are available. So, these two are fixed, Q0, Z0. If this is Q0, then one you get. If this is Q1, you will get another. So I have two choices. So I got two productions for this. You have 5 states. You will get 5 productions for yes. Right? Then what is the first move I have? Delta of Q0B Z0. See, Q0B Z0. Now you need to apply this third rule. Third rule. What it says? QZ. What is this QZ? Which are available here. Q dash is a choice for you. Now, how many symbols? 2 symbols are written onto the stack. That is Z, Z0. Z0 is replaced with Z, Z0. Right? So I have 2 choices. So now you have a choice of this, and then Q1 there is no choice for you. Then you have Q2, Q dash, Q2, and so on. You have a choice. Right? Now, if I look at this, see, Q, that is Q0, Z, that is this one, delta of QZ. Now this is a choice for me. This I have taken Q dash is equal to, for this Q dash equal to Q0. Then B, that is this symbol. B, this symbol is B, Q1, Z1, Q1, this is Q1, Q1, Z1, this is Q1, Z1, Z1 is Z, Q1, Z1, then Q2, right? Then Q2, Z2, Z2 is Z0, then Q dash. What is Q dash? Q dash is Q0. Now here Q dash is fixed with Q0, Q dash. For a choice of Q dash equal to Q0. For a choice of Q2 equal to Q1. for a choice of q2 equal to q1. z1, z2 are fixed. q dash, q2 you have a choice. That means in these two I have taken q dash is equal to q0. Now in this I have taken q2 equal to q0. In this I have taken q2 equal to q1. That is for a choice of q0 and q0, then q0, q1 for this two. Now for this two, q0, z0, now q dash is fixed with q1. Q dash is fixed with q1. Then q2 is fixed with q0. Here q0, here q1. Right? So you have a choice for q dash and q2, not for q1. See, you have a choice for q dash, q2, q3, not for q1. q1 is defined in the move. Right? So I have no choice for this z1, z2, b. Right? Only thing is you need to fill up these gaps. This gap, then this gap, this two must be same, and then this gap. Right? This is what you have to fill up. So immediately as soon as you get a move of this form, you just simply write q0, q0, then z0, and this is gap for me. So what I have to do is I'll write here q0, z0, and this is a choice for me. Q dash gives you, this is b, q1. Q1 is this. So q0. Now this is z1. Then now this is a choice, and this is another choice. Come, this is q2. Then z2. Then q dash. This and this must be same, and this choice. These two must be same. Now you have a choice for two values, this one and this one. So you fill up some q0 here, then it will be q0, because you have set of states two set of states. So you have a choice, two choices and two values. So you will get a total of four, the q0 and q0, then q0, q1, then q1, q0, then q1, q1. So you get 4. Right? So you get 4. Similarly, if you look at this, a symbol is erased. Symbol is erased from the top of the stack. So what happens now? q0, z0, q0, right? q0, z0. Then this is q0. I'm going to q0. q0 will give you epsilon. Right? So you have another move here. Now you can see q1bz. Then what happens? q1 z q1 will give you b, the terminal that made you to arrange the top of the stack. Now what about for this q0 a? So q0 this is pushed. Any other I have? Right. Now you can see here q0 zz means this is fixed with this, and this is fixed with this, right? And this is fixed with this, and you have z1 and you have z2, right? So now you have a choice. This is fixed with this. Right? Now you have a choice for this one and for this. Right? Now you have a set of two input states. If you have three input states, you will get 6. Right? 3 into 3C2. Right? Permutations and combinations. Right? So for this you get this 4, and for this, because only one is there, you will get 2. Right? Because this is fixed, and this z is fixed, and this q1 is fixed, and this a will be here. Right? Now you have only choice for this. This z is fixed here. This z. Right? Now this is z1. This is here. Right? Now what you have is only choice for this. So you can take q0 or you can take q1. So you have got 2, because only one input. And similarly for this also you will get 2. Right? So this is what have got. And if this PDA designed in this manner will accept the context-free grammar, this context-free grammar will generate the same language as that of the PDA, which is accepting the language by null store. So if you want, you can just replace these combinations with the variables, then you can see it as a variables and terminals terminology. So you can work out on some examples and you can go for it. So with this, so what we have done now is we have taken a CFG and we have got a PDA. PDA by final state. Then we have taken a PDA. We have taken a PDA and then we have constructed a context-free grammar. This PDA is acceptance by empty stack. And we have designed a PDA. And we proved that for every final state PDA, there is an equivalent empty stack PDA. That means we have CFG and we have PDA, whether it is final state or empty state. So from here to here we came and here to here. That means PDA to CFG, CFG to PDA. That means, what does this mean? The context-free languages, any context-free language will have a context-free grammar, right? So the set of context-free languages is equal to the set accepted by the set of languages accepted by the PDA. That means PDAs will act as recognizers for context-free languages. That means you have a context-free language, you can design a PDA. You have a PDA, then corresponding language is a context-free language. In other words, every context-free language will be accepted or will be recognized by a PDA, and every PDA, the language of every PDA is a context-free language. That means the recognizers for the set of context-free languages are nothing but the push-down automata. Right? In the next class, we will see some of the gate questions on this context-free grammars, context-free languages, and push-down automata. And